Well, Square Enix, you did it again. You rose all the fans on Twitter into a frenzy. And let me tell you, that's not the only thing rising. I'm of course talking about my So, the Sony State of Play presentation has finally ended, and it ended a while ago. And while it was decent, we got a few things that we already kind of knew about. We got some release dates, which is nice. Oddworld finally got a fucking release date, which is cool. Something happened at the end of it that really got fans excited. We got more news on FF7 Remake stuff. More importantly, we got a DLC confirmed for the first FF7 Remake. We got, I think it's called, let me pull it up real quick. It was right at the end of the State of Play. Everyone was excited about it. Everyone was so happy. People were just freaking the hell out. So yes, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade was announced, and if you haven't seen it, go check out the trailer. It's really good. Highly recommend. But this is basically a story expansion that takes place somewhere within the time that Cloud disappears from the group, from Avalanche, and ends up with Aerith. It takes place sometime in there, and you're playing as Yuffie, fan favorite character, I think. I don't know, a lot of people on Twitter seem to like Yuffie. A lot of people I knew growing up didn't like Yuffie. I don't know how it works. I love Yuffie as a character, so I am excited. And you get to play alongside another, if I'm not mistaken, Avalanche member from like a different branch of Avalanche. That's so cool. I'm so excited for this because, honestly, I have been craving more FF7 Remake stuff. At least I would be excited because it was announced that we were also getting a PS5 somewhat remaster / port. They're upgrading a lot of the stuff like the textures and graphics and things like that. You could definitely tell with the way they were presenting it, like, it seemed like they kind of wanted FF7 Remake to be on the PS5, but they decided to keep it on the PS4, and now they're kind of pushing it over now. And the thing that kind of riled up fans was the Interlude DLC, as it is PS5 only, it seems. I have many thoughts about this, but mainly I'm just cool that we get more FF7 stuff. It's pretty much been confirmed that the sequel is being worked on, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, the thing I'm actually kind of mad about is that I do want a PS5, and I'm sure a lot of you know it's hard to get a PS5 nowadays, and here it ain't any different. So yeah, PS5s are pretty scarce. A lot of people don't know where to find one, or if they can try to get one, they usually get bad iPod bots, and it's this whole thing that's happening that honestly sucks. I wish we could have more info on this side of things, but sadly we don't. So yes, it does seem like the Interlude DLC is going to be PS5 exclusive. Now, if you do own the game on PS4 and you have the PS5, you're getting a free upgrade no matter what, which is pretty cool. Then all you have to do is buy the DLC. And I think if you buy the PS5 version, whenever they release that, you'll actually get the DLC with it. That's pretty cool. Again, it kind of sucks, but I'm not so mad at Square for taking this route. I can kind of understand why they would do this on a business perspective. I'm more mad at Sony, if more than anything, because I want a PS5. I really do want a PS5, but the problem is, PS5 ain't got no games, so I'm not trying to get out and get the best thing on the market right now because there's something I want to play. Sure, I can play my PS4 games pretty, apparently even better on the PS5, but I'd rather play the new upcoming games. Like, I know Ratchet & Clank is coming out, Abe's Odyssey, like the new Oddworld game is coming out, which seems great. That Returner game seems pretty cool. FF16, of course, I'm excited, but we know we're not getting that this year probably. So a PS5 is just something I don't want. Now, of course, I want to play this DLC. I want to play it on PS5, but I don't know if it's worth it yet. I'm definitely going to wait. I'm going to try to get my hands on one if I can, but it is kind of a damn shame that they seem it's only PS5 right now, especially since the original launch was on PS4. I feel like that's kind of an iffy thing, but what are you going to do? I'm excited nonetheless. I just want more FF7 Remake stuff. If I do end up getting a PS5, I will play through the game again, as I'm currently doing it on hard mode now. We'll definitely play through it again on PS5, because, God, it looks so good on PS5. Oh my God. Also, if you noticed, I have lighting now, so that's cool. Now I don't have to look like a fucking gremlin in my own room. My room's still trash, but I don't have to look like a gremlin, and that's the most important part. But alongside this, however, we have received news that we're getting 2 more Final Fantasy VII titles. That's right, 2. Getting 2. One is a pocket edition of Final Fantasy VII, the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, might I add. That's right, they are completely building a mobile game. that is going to retell the events of not only Final Fantasy VII, but Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, and more importantly, Final Fantasy VII Before Crisis, a game we never even got and had to be retold via RPG Maker for us to even experience the story of. By the way, if you haven't seen the story of Before Crisis, I'd probably wait for this remake now, or whatever you want to call it. That story is honestly pretty interesting, and it tells some pretty cool shit about FF7 lore that not a whole lot of people know. It's great. Please just, if you want to play it, I'm pretty sure you can find a download somewhere of like someone remaking an RPG Maker. It's pretty decent. It is what it is. It's trying to fucking remake a phone game. It's whatever. But yeah, it's kind of insane just how much all of this shit is going to be on our mobile devices. It's going to be episodics, but apparently, from an interview that Nomura did with Famitsu, it's not like, oh, we're just going to do Final Fantasy VII and then Advent Children and then yada 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 yada, etc., etc. No. Each game that they're going to be covering is getting their own chapters, which mean like every month, let's say, you'll get a new chapter for each game, which is insane. I think they even confirmed that every month there will be a new chapter. I don't know if that means a new chapter for each game or just like, oh, this month we'll get a chapter for FF7, next month we'll get a chapter for like Crisis Core or whatever. And it looks amazing, might I add. The game honestly looks amazing. It looks so good for a phone. It looks like the mods that you see for Final Fantasy VII on PC, like with the 7th Heavens mod and all that. It looks exactly like that, except like professionally done now. Which, I don't want to say professionally. I meant like the team behind it actually did it. Like, I don't want to, because fans are obviously professionals if they were able to do it. They're very good at making that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's all kind of insane. I knew I wanted like a remaster or a remake of some of these games, like Crisis Core. I definitely wanted a remaster on PS4 or something. But I'll take this. This is great. And then we got a fucking battle royale for Final Fantasy VII. I'm not mad. I'm just, every time I think about it, it's funny. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier, which we all thought was going to be like a Sephiroth DLC or something, turns out is actually a mobile battle royale shooter. I don't know, I got nothing. I swear to God, parody's writing itself at this point. And apparently, there's actual plot to this story because Ever Crisis, the other game, is going to be covering the plot from that, along with other titles, apparently. What? I don't know what to expect, but I'm super excited. The interview that Nomura did seems pretty interesting, because they're really hinting at like a lot of stuff that, like, don't worry, part 2 of Remake is being worked on, we're getting these other titles down, it's gonna be a fucking blast, don't worry about it. You trust Papa Nomura, and we do trust Papa Nomura, because we trust him with all our hearts. It should be said that he's actually stepping down as the main director of Final Fantasy VII Remake now. He's just going to be a creative director, and the co-director, I can't remember his name, I'll put it on screen, is now going to be fully in charge of directing FF7 Remake, which I fully trust them, because that whole team did amazing work. I loved FF7 Remake. If I can get a video out this year on it, I will, because I want to talk about that game. It's fucking great, but I trust every team member to do what they need to do to make the part 2 as good as part 1, in my opinion, anyway. But there's also some other news that has been going on with Square today, which it's kind of weird that these 2 mobile games got announced, because 2 mobile games, also under the direction of Nomura to some extent, have officially been confirmed that they're going offline. And that is Dark Road, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and Kingdom Hearts Union Dark Road. These games have been officially announced at May 2021, the month of May. They will be going offline. This doesn't mean that they're canceling. Well, they're stopping the online functionality of the game, which means like you probably won't be able to get jewels, you won't be able to get cards, you won't be able to do all these kind of stuff, but you'll still be able to enjoy the story of these games. And if you haven't experienced Kingdom Hearts Unchained Story or Union or whatever, for the love of God, play this when it gets offline. Go download the game now. You don't have to play it. You can play it if you want to, but you don't have to. Wait for the offline to come in and just fully enjoy the story however they're going to do it, because it is genuinely probably the best storytelling that Kingdom Hearts has done. It's got so many interesting things. Trust me, it's great. And it's actually the story's gonna be ending when this game goes offline, so it probably won't be a better time to pick it up than then. The one thing I was kind of worried about, though, was Dark Road, because Dark Road had started very recently, only a couple of months ago, and our story updates have been kind of lackluster, for better or for worse. We've been getting stuff added, but it hasn't been stuff that we've been excited about. But from my understanding, for what we've seen being talked about online, they are going to finish the story of both games, so I am excited for that. Dark Road's also going to go offline, so you'll just be able to play it and enjoy the story. Those two games died so we can get a fucking Battle Royale and the compilation remakes, I guess. I don't know. It has been a weird day to be a Square Enix fan. And I should also mention that the main reason why Nomura is, I think, kind of leaving the big director's chair of FF7 Remake is that he's working on so many projects right now that he probably just doesn't have the time. And I don't really fault him for that. Because Kingdom Hearts, as you guys may know, its big anniversary is coming up. Its 20th anniversary is coming in next year, and Nomura's already said that we got something planned for it, don't worry. Like, you can expect something to be announced either probably later this year for it to be released next year, or a big announcement next year. We're gonna get something. So it's obvious that he's working on these other titles while also trying to fingle with like Final Fantasy VII Remake and all that. And honestly, God, I appreciate that man so much, trying to bring the best of everything to us that we can. But it's been kind of interesting, and there's a lot of like interview stuff that has been kind of going around that I think is pretty genuinely interesting. I'm trying to pull up everything here because, like I said, the amount of stuff that has been being talked about and that is like showing up in this interview, it's been kind of insane. Like, Nomura has gone on record saying like, Ever Crisis is basically a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII, but it's also going to tell us the story of a whole bunch of other things. There's also been like a huge amount of stuff talked about, like how the Final Fantasy VII Intergrade is like kind of how can I put this? It's kind of leading up to something which is pretty interesting. Like, I'm very excited. They're talking about like the new character Sonnen or whatever, who's like apparently, like I mentioned before, he's another Avalanche member that we'll actually be meeting. He's another part of Avalanche, which the game really needs to like delve into because it's mentioned in the original. I can't wait to see where this goes. We're getting like a new combat system where apparently the character or the player will only be controlling Yuffie, while he'll be like a playable NPC party member, but you'll be able to do like all these team up attacks and stuff. Bro, I'm so excited for this damn thing. Why is it PS5 exclusive? Come on, I want it, Nomura. But pretty much the biggest thing for me personally, at the end of the trailer, it is shown that like these dudes in Dirge Cerberus get-ups come in and start attacking Yuffie and Sonnen, and like immediately when I was watching the trailer, I'm like, oh my god, that's Dirge Cerberus outfits. What the fuck is going on? And if you've played FF7 Remake, you know kind of where my mind is going with this. The biggest thing was at the end of the trailer, we saw someone who looks remarkably like this character here, Weiss from Dirge Cerberus. He was, I think, like the final boss of the game. I haven't played that game in like 12 years, so may be mistaken. Plan on streaming it soon. He was added to this DLC because there was already a really strong figure in FF7 Remake, so they kind of wanted to have another formidable boss to kind of relate to this, and he chose Weiss for this because I guess in the way that they're writing it, it's going to make sense. I do not know. Apparently he's been wanting it since they've been working on the PS4 version of this game. And there's a lot of things. It seems like he's gonna be fought in the battle simulator, so I don't know how that's gonna work. But that means we'll probably be visiting Shinra HQ at some point. Maybe, or we'll see like maybe something from Chadley. I don't fucking know. This shit's gonna be wild. But the biggest thing is one of the last question asked was there will be a new boss DLC character, but is that character going to be different than Weiss, such as another character from a compilation behab, and he says that the new boss character in the Yuffie DLC story is different than Weiss. As for who else will appear aside from him, well, please wait for more info to find out. So I thought originally watching this, Weiss was going to be the final boss, and that was just going to be like a whole big thing. But no, some other fucker is going to come in and wreck up shit. Now, a lot of people have been saying that GACT is going to be part of this again, which is hilarious. 4K GACT fans rise up. But yeah, I don't know. It's been hella insane, dude. I cannot wait for this DLC. Even if I don't play it day one, I will play it eventually when I get a PS5. I'll definitely be watching people play it because God knows I won't be able to contain myself. But I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. Like, God, it's good to be a Square Enix fan nowadays. They have been doing some solid work. Bravely's coming out today when I upload this video, probably. I won't be getting it till next week. Yay. Yeah, I don't know. Part 2 remake is pretty much being confirmed that it's still being worked on, so we'll probably get some news this year, not next year. I don't know. I thought this was pretty exciting. A lot of shit happened today. Kingdom Hearts games were getting canceled. Fucking Final Fantasy VII Battle Royales were happening. I thought it was fun to make a video on. I wanted something to fill the gaps while I'm still working on the new video. I know it's taken me a long time, and since I have no way to segue into this, while we're keeping on the topic of Kingdom Hearts and such, I now have Kingdom Hearts boots. Aren't they nice? That's right. I bought Kingdom Hearts designer boots because I have no control with the money that I earn nowadays. I don't know how to end this video,